Hello, Kendall. You alright?
Yeah, you.
Not really. No, Brucey's
No.
kind of ruined me weekend there, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. Wasn't good.
wasn't good at all. I might just start watching League One and just wear PSG tops instead, like because
Yeah, well, it's because I've said when I do the football tours on a Friday, I challenge myself to wear a different jersey every single week. That will
nice.
do it. So that's why I'm wearing so many different jerseys because I challenge myself, and now everyone won't let us forget it.
Well, I feel embarrassed wearing this shit, to be honest. But it's an embarrassing performance tonight, though, isn't it? We've just bent over and let Southampton take the 3 points. Will they get an easier game than that? I mean, when teams come up against Newcastle now, they must be licking the lips, mustn't they? Because Brucey doesn't set them out to win the game.
We're so predictable as well. Like everyone knows exactly how we're going to set up. If we win, we just keep the same formation. Don't change any players. Don't change anything about the team. It's gone to show tonight. Hasn't worked. We did it against I can't remember who went. West Ham. Then went and played Brighton with the exact same formation, exact same team, and it didn't work again. For me, I mean, players. Hendrick should have been off at half time. If I'm honest, I mean, if I could take him off earlier, I would have. He should have been off. Wilson didn't really do much tonight, but to be fair, we were in their half constantly. So, in our own half defending. So, yeah, it was really bad to watch, if I'm honest. So,
it was like, I mean, you do have to feel sorry for Wilson, like you see, isolated. I mean, a lot of people in our watch long were obviously hammering Hendrick. He seems to be enemy number one on Twitter as well before the game, asking why is he starting. Obviously, Fraser took an injury before the game, but then we've seen Matty Longstaff come on, and then he didn't really look up to scratch either, did he? Not, like I said, Saint-Maximin, I don't think he had a really good game. I mean, is it the formation? Are we alienating these players? Are we not getting the best out of them?
I think, yeah, some of it is the formation because, as we've said for weeks and weeks and weeks, Saint-Maximin doesn't suit that central role. Like, I don't know how much more he has to do wrong in that, or not do at all in that role before, Steve Bruce decides to change it. Almiron should be central. If he doesn't change that or drop Saint-Maximin next week, I genuinely don't know what he is even thinking, because it just hasn't worked for 3 games now, and considering we got a draw and a win, and it still hasn't worked. So I just really don't know where we can go from here. Wilson isolated again because we were creating nothing. We played so deep today. It was unheard of, to be honest. Hendrick offered nothing again. Hayden should have been starting. I don't know why he isn't. And fair enough, last game he was only back from injury. That's fair enough. But to not start him when he should be fit now is very strange to me, considering how good he's been for us the last season, in the beginning of this season. Very odd. Sean Longstaff, rubbish again tonight. I really thought he might come back into his former self. Playing him last week, he looked pretty decent. It just was bad. Matty Longstaff was bad. I honestly don't have a good word to say about pretty much anyone apart from Carl Darlow again. Pulled off some fantastic saves. Could have been worse.
I think it definitely should have been worse, to be honest. It should have been more than 2, shouldn't it? I think Newcastle, Bruce is just relying on a 1-1, and he got it at Molyneux, he got it at Spurs. He was just hoping for it. He brings Carroll on, he's thinking, I'll snatch a 1-1 here, we'll be top 10. And then we said it before, the media will be pointing at the table, but we've seen a stat that came up during that game as well. We are first in terms of shots conceded, shots against, everything in that area. Questions have got to be asked about Bruce now, haven't they?
They've got to be, because he's trying to play defensive football, yet still letting all them shots on at the goal. It just makes no sense if that's what you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to play defensive football, you shouldn't be letting that many shots in at your goal. Luckily, we've got Carl Darlow, and he's been solid for us past few games. And I really don't have a bad word to say about Carl Darlow. He saved us in so many situations. Like, some of the saves he pulled off tonight were phenomenal. That could have been way worse than it actually was. So, the questions of Bruce, I mean, last week, it couldn't be further from what we are again this week. And this is the problem, because we know that it is not a long-term, sustainable situation to have him in as the manager, because he does 2 games with fantastic, we say tactics, but it's just worked out for him. And we have the best half of football we've had last season was last game against Everton, second half. And then tonight was just the 90 minutes of worst football I've ever seen for a year and a half, to be honest.
A lot of people have been saying that, actually, the worst they've seen in a while for Newcastle. And I think it was because we offered nothing. The thing that's winding me up is, like you say, if you play 5 at the back, you expect to be solid. We did that under Benitez. Nobody ever looked like getting past it. You think we'd be playing fucking 1 at the back? The amount of teams that the opposition gets the chances tonight in pretty much every other game, and the lack of going forward, the lack of trying to win, that's what winds me up. It's just like Brucey forfeits the game before balls even being kicked.
100%, because then he always does that thing where, Southampton are a really good side, we're going to have to try our best to beat them. It's just this complete defeatist attitude all the time. And it can't help rubbing off on players. I haven't seen his post-match, so I can only dread to think what he's going to say. I will have a look at the comments later on. But yeah, it's just, it was just horrible tonight. And as you say, the questions have got to be asked, because, I mean, that should have been changed at half-time for me there. And if that really, you look at it and you think he wanted to defend a 1-0 loss. And it's strange to me that, because if that was me and I was in that position, then I would be like, lads, we can go out the second half and we can attack this game. You're only 1 goal down. It's possible to do. But he hasn't. We sat so deep. It just looked like he wanted to 1-0 defeat, and that was fine. And the problem is, as I've said on previous a million times before, the media will be thinking if it was only 1-0, Bruce didn't do too badly. Southampton are a team on form. They're top of the table. And that's just exactly what happens every single time. He always comes off like he falls in shit and comes out smelling the roses, like, because the media just love him so much. Like the commentators tonight, did you hear them? Were they Southampton fans?
Probably, yeah.
Literally, they were literally shouting. They scored their second goal and the commentator was like, yes. It's just unbelievable. It's just I don't even know how we voluntarily put ourselves through the whole 90 minutes of that, to be honest, because it's hard work to watch, and this is our problem, why other fans can't see why we get so frustrated, and it's because of times like that. It's just going to be inconsistent every single time.
I was sent Keith Downey's tweet during the game, which is actually good to see, where he's saying this is hard to watch ... again, which is nice to see. Someone in his position calling that out. But because that's what we need. We need more pressure on him, because before the game, it was asked of Pardew, Newcastle's results are good, but the performance is on. The fans aren't happy with it. And Pardew said, well, results is first, performance is second, especially at this club, but more so in the Premier League. That just sums up how shite it is now. It's football's a business, really, isn't it? That no one really cares about what the fans have to endure for 90 minutes. They look forward to the game all week, then watch that on a Friday night. Like,
you just wouldn't. Nah, it's frustrating to watch, because you want good football. We've got players in that team that can, have the potential to play good football. We've seen it. We've seen it. Like, I mean, scarcely, but we have seen like the creativity that we can have. So it's just so frustrating when probably, I would say, before like 3 games ago, if you looked at our next 5 fixtures, Southampton was probably a fixture we thought we could get a point from, at least. Especially that they've got Ings out and stuff like that, which is was going to be a threat to us massively. No, just haven't capitalised on it whatsoever. And we've just gone back. We've gone, 1 step forward and 3 back again. And it's really, really like a struggle when there's teams around us who would normally be around us. Southampton are top of the table now. I mean, obviously, I know the weekend of football's got to come, but they're top of the table now. And they've been in and around us since we've been in the Premier League. And it's just frustrating that we can't improve like teams like that can.
Exactly. And Hasenhüttl hasn't had a penny to spend. Bruce has spent more than Hasenhüttl. And look at the football he's got them playing out from the back and everything.
Exactly. Just honestly, 2 chalk and cheese on that pitch today, and it goes to show.
All right. Thanks very much for your time. And we'll see you after the break. Take care during lockdown.
Yes, you as well. Bye.
Yeah, see you there.